All right.
All right, guys. So we have Bonyth here now. He is going to be going into his round of 4 match. Bonyth, first off, how are you liking this land in Thailand? You've been to a lot of lands at this point. You've won a lot of lands at this point. What are you thinking about BSL 25?
Actually, this is, I think, my third life in my life. Like first being a local one and a fourth. Then there was the Corrupted Cup in Russia. Then was the Warsaw LAN like 1 year ago, and this is the fourth one. So yeah, well, I enjoy these lands. Like I can meet the, I know for a fact that like in the internet these guys are cool, and I get to see their face and talk to them in real life. They're great guys, and I'm glad to meet them. Although lands are pretty stressful.
Yeah, no, it is a lot harder to play at lands, and I got to say, 4 lands is actually a lot in the foreign Broodwar scene, so that's why I'm saying that. But actually, that's a good question for you. A lot of people when they go to lands, well, I think probably everyone plays worse than they play at home, but sometimes it feels like certain players play better because they're just better at dealing with pressure, whereas it feels like everyone plays below their level that they play at their house, right? So where would you rank yourself in that? Because you've done obviously very well at land so far.
Mm-hmm. I guess not the worst possible, but like still I can play like maybe 80% of my skill level. It's just like the more it's about the question is how much do you really want yourself to succeed. So the bigger you have expectations from yourself, the bigger the drawn back is going to be. So fortunately enough, I am not the top 1 candidate in this tournament. So there's a little bit stress thanks to that, but there's still like I expect myself to like the plan minimum was to be in the top 2 like before the tournament start.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah, anyone that you ask about this, it's like basically you and DeWalt are considered the top for sure. You guys always are having those absolutely great results. You know, if Zero had never invited Mihu to the BSL, you guys would be rich. You know, but yeah, looking at this event, you've done very well so far. I wouldn't say like completely dominant. You have lost at least 1 game, I think, just against Zero. Has anyone you felt like given you a lot of pressure in any of these games, though?
Like just Zero because of the fact that he plays Zerg and it's DVP. Like many things can happen, and one of these things happened in the game number 1. But that was smart of him to like put all the pressure on me in the game number 1, which is like probably the most stressful before you kind of get used to everything. So yeah, that's. What was the question again?
Well, yeah, I was just wondering if anyone that you've played against, you feel like has played really well and like pushed you, you know, towards your limits.
Oh yeah, I mean, just games against SPX were really hard. Like he pushed me. Like maybe in game number 1 it wasn't as hard for me because I knew that I have some windows here and there. I can like I have options. Like I can go kill his main, or I can secure my nut and then do stuff. So I had options, but in game number 2, like I was left basically with basically 1 option, which was just to go towards SPX main and crush it. Luckily for me, SPX was trying to defend a little bit too greedy on the bridges. If he just went back all the way to his main, I could be in a deep trouble.
Yeah, he actually did put out very good games against you. I got to commentate those, and that was even closer than I thought it would end up being. If he had pulled those units back a little bit quicker after he secured the Nexus, I think he would have ended up winning that game against you. But wasn't meant to be. Now you're going to be going up against TerrOr. How do you feel historically against TerrOr and like for this particular event?
Well, statistically, I should be able to win the games, but you know, I mean, I have great respect for every player. I never try to underestimate anyone. So these players, all of these players are just S ranks. You know, that's 1% percentage of the whole globe skill, right? So there are no weak players here. So you underestimate someone and you're going down, right? So there is no talk about underestimating opponents at this stage of the tournament.
All right. One last thing. What do you think your scoreline is going to be here against TerrOr in the Specifive?
Nah, nice. Yeah, let's doom myself a little bit. 3-1 in my favor.
All right, that's what Dewalt thought too. That's what I think as well, actually. Although I am cheering for TerrOr to 3-0 you. So.
Yeah, I'm sure PVT Grand Finals is like what people want, unfortunately for me.
Well, that's all right. Thank you very much for your time, Bonyth, and we'll see you in the game in a minute. All right. Yeah, come on over. Welcome, El Champion. My only Terran bro still in the tournament. How are you feeling so far about this tournament?
The tournament has been very beautiful experience for me. Like most of the lands that I used to play are in Peru. Going abroad is like a new experience, meeting the new players internationally. So yeah, I've been very exciting so far.
How do you feel like you're playing so far at this event? I mean, you did end up winning your group, and you know, obviously you took down Ultra, which is a big deal. Ultra's in great shape nowadays. So, what do you think about your current play here in Thailand?
I think I've been getting better. Like the first day, I was like getting set up with the mouse and the keyboard, and the next day it got much better. And now that I have played a couple games today, I feel like I feel very confident with the setup that I have right now. So yeah, I think I'll try to show good games.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's going to be a little bit tough because it's Bonyth, and everyone knows that he is as scary at Protoss vs. Terran as basically anyone in the world that you can really face. I mean, Sharp felt that the other day as well, even. So, yeah. So, what do you think against Bonyth? Like, do you actually believe in yourself? Are you like, I can beat this guy? Or is it more like an uphill battle where you're like, oh, maybe I'm 40%?
I know it's an uphill battle, but I beat him once, so I'm trying to repeat that. Obviously, it's like a LAN tournament has like different things going on, like the nerves, like playing live, no lag, no anything. So yeah, I feel confident, to be honest. Like I was up late watching a couple of TVPs, getting some ideas, watching the map. So yeah, I know it's going to be difficult, but I think I have a good shot.
Yeah. I mean, you've been basically the hero of the Terrans in the foreign scene for a very, very long time here. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's just about it for it. Best of luck to you. And what do you think before you go? What's the score line?
I think it's going to be close, maybe 3-2 for either side. So I just hope that I can show good games. Let me say hi to all the Latam fans that are staying very late to watch these games. It's like 4 a.m., 3 a.m. for them. So I appreciate all the support that they give me through all my social media.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. Good luck, TerrOr. I'll be casting your games. Why don't you go get set up and we'll get that going. All right, so that does it for our interviews. We're going to get these guys into the first map. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure use that command Patreon, support the BSL so we can do more awesome events like this. All right, we'll be back in a minute. Are we still live? All right, hey, I'm back. And yeah, here with San once again. We have TerrOr vs. Bonyth. Why don't you tell me some of your thoughts on this series coming up?
Well, it's going to be a struggle for TerrOr. For TerrOr, you can feel it from that interview. TerrOr feeling a lot less confident than Bonyth, and I just wanted to mention that Bonyth is sitting very, very close to us, so we're going to have to keep things a little bit quieter. You know, especially he mentioned announcing the spawn positions. He doesn't want to hear any of that, so we might not even mention those spawn positions just to make sure that none of that comes through.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. We will be quiet about spawn positions, and hopefully Zero can make sure that his volume is cranked in that headset so that he can't really hear anything. Turn that Protoss music on, as bad as it is compared to the Terran and Zerg music. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%. Zerg is actually my favorite music, but Terran is fantastic as well. We've also turned our screen here to make sure that there's no peeking. And yes, I think Bonyth is totally honorable and everything, but trust but verify, that type of thing. Don't you agree?
Yeah, you know, I mean, Bonyth would never cheat. There's no point. Like, imagine Imagine you throw away all the like years and years and years of your hard work by cheating at a LAN. That's like, you'd have to be a Counter-Strike player to do that.
Yes, right. Well, yeah, we make sure that everything is fair here, and I don't expect any cheating to go down, and everything is everyone's super nice here at the LAN, and everyone's just trying to have a good time. Really, winning or losing is not that important. It's enjoying the LAN and enjoying the experience of being here in Thailand for a StarCraft event. That's not the...
Dude, the company and the competition is what this is all about. We are ready for game number 1, by the way, guys. So we're going to jump into it. Oh my God, Rush Hour going to be our first map.
And here we go.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
TerrOr here versus Bonyth on Rush Hour. What do you think about this map in TVP specifically?
Okay. So TVP specifically here, the left-hand spawns are fine, and the right-hand spawn is death incarnate, because the surface area to get into the main base is infinite on the right-hand spawn, so that if you spawn on the right, you're in big trouble. But TVP here, like, still, I think shuttle play is really, really good. I think that this is more of a gateway map than a carrier map. What TerrOr should be aiming for here is macroing very quickly and being ready to roam the map really quick, right? Because the counterattack paths are very long, so you can do things like set up a minefield to slow your opponent and then, like, hit a base, right? So I feel like that is the type of play you want to be ready to maybe 5-fact or 6-fact, or if you need to take that third base, that's fine, but, like, have those minefields set up, attack quickly, expand behind your attack, and I think if you play it in that type of style, very playable for TVP.
Very similar to some of the other maps we have with the 3 paths, like Eclipse, 3 paths going through, 3 counterattack paths, but they're like wonky counterattack paths that are really hard to get around and can mess with your micro, and your pathing can be really, really weird on this map, so we'll have to watch to see if either player makes a mistake with that, if they let their army split off and, you know, part of the army goes in one direction and the other part of the army goes in the other direction, it can really hurt you in this matchup.
Yeah, it's so true, and that's why you can do these, like, really powerful, really quick pushes, because, you know, it just, counterattack is, like, one of the most important aspects of Protoss vs. Terran, right? Like, let's say you're trying to go carriers, like, you're gonna have to counterattack 2-3 times to be able to get into those carriers. So that's kind of the thing that we're looking for there. Looks like we have a little picture here of this first person view. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, the quality of the production here at BSL ever growing thanks to all the support and the hard and diligent work of Zero. He's been running back and forth all day, and in fact this entire tournament, making sure that everything is working properly. And, you know, the audio issues abound, but we've got even the players' cams and their FB VODs here. It's just really awesome to witness.
Yeah, I mean, cheers to Zero. He always sets up the best streams possible at these PC cafes, where it's like, you're not, the PC cafe doesn't play fair with you. You got to reset everything up every day. That's how PC cafes are. But no, it's doing fantastically. We're having some great games here as well. And dude, I'm really looking forward to this series. I mean, we're early in the game right now. Like, there's been a probe scout. No real tech has been shown. But I'm really hoping that we have an epic macro game here, because I think Rush Hour is one of the maps that can give you a really interesting long TVP.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment. Want to see a very long TVP here with TerrOr pulling out all the stops, getting into a huge macro game with maxed out army versus Bonyth, and what he's going to bring out to try and counter that. Do you think Bonyth is an Arbiter player, or is he just a mass shuttle player?
Bonyth, well, he's a carrier guy, really. You know, he's like a Reaver into... Oh, is he going too far? Oh, yep, there it is. There it is. Good catch. Good catch. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have a 2-fact play. Now, what I am interested in here is how TerrOr follows it, because if Bonyth does a regular build, the 2-fact should be able to push down the Nexus. But the big question, we talked about this a lot when SPX was doing it yesterday, is what is your follow-up, because the Reaver comes and you need to go both turrets and command center, and you can't afford it.
Yeah, we have to be really quiet right now. Bonyth cannot know about this unless he manages to scout. He's killing off quite a few of these Marines to start things off. So really, you know, getting off to a good start at holding this, but he's lost some health on this Dragoon, and TerrOr's being a little bit careful pushing forward there. I thought he was going to get at least one extra shot from that tank on the Dragoon and bring it down to red HP.
Yeah, you never get extra shots against Bonyth, unfortunately. He did see that there's no command center, so this feels like it was a bit of a mistake here from TerrOr. If you look at the 2-fact that we saw from SPX, he said, screw it, you can know I'm doing it, but I'm not going to lose any Marines. And the Marines are very important for tanking hits during the actual push, so I feel like TerrOr's start here is a little bit rough.
He sees a second gateway here in the main. We've got the robotics facility done already. Do you just start a robotics support bay and try to get into Reaver as quickly as possible here?
You could go Observer if you are not entirely sure, or Reaver is good too. Like, either way, you're going to go Reaver here pretty quickly. I think that this is the most standard play that you're going to see, which is the Observer first. It's going to, like, he'll micro well, and we'll see what Bonyth can do. I don't think he can stop the Nexus from dying. But then you have to go into the Reaver for counterattack.
Gotcha. So we're expecting this to do massive damage to actually kill the Nexus. We'll see if Bonyth can prevent that from happening. These Marines are very low in number, only 3 here with the 3 tanks, and Vulture rallies coming forward. Looks like speed is done. Did he get mines as well? Can he have mines at this point?
Yeah, he should have mines. And yeah, it looks like he does have mines. In fact, he tries to lay them down. Not actually the best execution there from TerrOr, unfortunately. He gets like 1 mine out and it gets picked off immediately. But his army is definitely big enough to just push these goons right back. Now, he needs to lay these mines. He needs to get a bunker started. I think that that's key. But I almost feel like Bonyth missed the opportunity to kill the SCV there. Like, I feel like that's a bigger kill than a unit right now. Just because if you can prevent or slow a bunker, you might actually be able to push down more quickly.
And this bunker has not started just yet. TerrOr just doing his best to kill this Nexus, and it looks like the Nexus is going to go down. He finishes Siege up as well. So sieging here on the right side of this natural, and that's quite a bit of space to cover here. If Bonyth wants to run down this ramp, he's going to get slaughtered by these tanks.
You know, I was talking to people the other day after SPX tried the 2-factory about this, and my suggestion is to go starport here, because you know that the shuttle has to come. You know that the Reaver basically has to come against something like this. Ooh, oh my god! That's crazy. That is really unfortunate for TerrOr. But let's see what he has in his main base. Okay, so he starts the eBay, and as you can see, he doesn't have the money for both eBay and command center. So even though he killed that Nexus, and you look at this chick, wow, he's ahead. Look at the supply. It's 61 to 38. Would we call that ahead? 1 base against 1 base?
No, I wouldn't call that ahead. And he did spot this kind of proxy location from Bonyth on the center left. I don't know what he was planning to put down there, but it's been killed. Coming in now to the main base. TerrOr actually leaving with his tank right now, but he's going to have to bring everything back to deal with this Reaver. Dropping the Dragoon first, going to tank that shot. Good pulling away here with the tank to eat less damage. He will die to this next shot, though.
Oh, that's too bad. If he had pulled it back, it would have lived at like 3 health. So unfortunate there, but very good micro overall. Yeah, see, there he goes. He pulls it back. Now it's probably going to end up dying. But, you know, he's getting as much as he can. He's putting down the turrets. Oh, the Reaver still is green health somehow. That's Bonyth for you right there.
Yeah, Bonyth juggling this so well. Very professional play from him. Just continuously dropping this out and picking it up as soon as it starts to take damage. He's already killed 2 tanks. He's killed a bunch of vultures. He hasn't gotten the big shots on the SCVs, but looking at the supply advantage now, it's over double here for Bonyth.
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad. He has more workers, he has more army as well. And, you know, you've built these turrets, you have a couple tanks in there, but like literally this army can break out of the natural right now. And that's not a good sign, because TerrOr's he hasn't started his command center.
No, he hasn't started his command center, and he's going to get bombed here by these shuttles. Oh, is he going to actually drag the mine? Looks like not. He's going to drop the Reaver and kills the tank there, just making it that much easier for him to break down this ramp, and here he comes.
Oh, he kills off those tanks as well. Bonyth actually kind of fumbled the micro there. He trying to drag the mine and everything didn't work out. So he clears this, and now we're at 72 to 27 supply. Dude, 27 supply is like, when do you have 27 supply in the game? At 3 minutes? We're at 9 minutes in the game.
Yeah, it's not a good situation. Wait, is that a starport above the factory there? I think you might be building one right now. Oh, no, it's a command center. Okay, okay. That was a command center. He's going to try to set up a base here, but Bonyth going to come across the map here with the speed shuttle. Nice. Hiding the turret underneath is a good move. Underneath the barracks there, he almost got that shuttle, and that might have actually allowed him to possibly take this natural, but as things stand here with the reverse shuttle and all of these dragoons out, I don't think you ever take this natural, do you? How can you hold this?
Well, even if he takes the natural, I feel like Bonyth is just going to be so far ahead on macro, right? Like, so there's two problems. First off, take your natural. Second off, how do you actually catch up in this game? This is a much worse position than if he had just gone for a command center at the beginning compared to the Nexus at the beginning, right? So, like, he's trying to get ahead with the push. He kills the Nexus, but ends up behind. And this is part of why 2FAC just, at the pro level, generally isn't used anymore.
You know, it's I want to talk about something kind of funny here because this game is pretty well over. I don't think that TerrOr is going to be able to hold on, but TerrOr played against Ultra yesterday, and he 2FACted, or he 2FACed Ultra to start game number 1, and then Ultra 2FACted him to the second game. And looks like we're diving in here. We're going to finish off these tanks, and I think it's a bit of a... He said, I actually asked him after the games, he said it was a bit of a skill check to see if his opponent was on par, you know, and able to hold the 2FACT, and then played a regular game after that. So maybe this is the same thing from TerrOr here. Just skill check, see if you're, you know, comfortable here in the LAN environment and you're able to hold that 2FACT, and there it is. And obviously that will also make the Protoss player a little bit afraid. Maybe you're going to do that again, right?
Yes, absolutely, especially considering the way TerrOr did it. He gave up early Marines to try to deny the scout. So as long as he continues to deny scouts as best he can, then yeah, that could be a good way to set the tone for the games. I wonder, because I haven't gotten to watch, I was out all day yesterday, I didn't get to watch the games yet. I'll definitely watch when I get home, but did he win with the 2FACT against Ultra in game 1?
He lost, and then Ultra 2FACted him, and then he lost as well.
Yeah.
So it didn't work for either player, and I was grilling them about it at dinner later. I was like, why did you guys both do that? That made no sense.
You're not supposed to go 2FACT anymore. This is a build from years and years and years ago, and it was very strong at one point, but everyone knows how to deal with it now. So it has a 100% loss rate in every matchup at the tournament. So yeah, it's funny, but that's TerrOr for you, and he's gone ahead and gone for a 2FACT in the first game. I don't think he's gonna do it again, but you know, putting some fear of God in DeWalt, maybe just letting him know that that's on the table. Yeah, I like that idea. Like, I think opening game 1 in a series with something aggressive can be a really great way to play, and make your opponent kind of more wary for the future. I hope we do not see that again. I think that here, you know, TerrOr gets to choose the map, so it'll probably be something vanilla like Paradiso or Broken Circuit. And I want to see him go for a macro game. You know, TerrOr's really good at gasless expansion. Bonyth's good against it because he opens Zealot a lot, but like, I think TerrOr knows that. He knows how to deal with that. And if he opens gasless, I think he always gets himself into a position that can win.
All right, well, we're about ready for this next game. We just need Bonyth in here. He's getting prepared, sitting down at his chair. Guys, thank you all for joining here at the BSL, all 437 of you. This is the finals here, the last day of this event. We've had so many big names here play, including Artosis and myself, and we're down to the final 4. And here we go into game number 2. TerrOr
So Paradiso going to be our map. Again, Bonyth is sitting pretty close to us, so we're going to skip saying the spawn positions, but Paradiso is just like a pretty comfortable map. It's a macro map, and generally those are the maps that Terrans want to play on. It's like the important things for Terran is like 4-player is generally good, and standard is generally good.
This is exactly as you predicted, the Paradiso map selection here for TerrOr, and he's in vertical spawns here. At least he didn't, he didn't get cross spawns. That's pretty good for TerrOr, right?
Yes, cross spawn win percentage is super low. As somebody predicted, I can't remember who, but yeah, that's good at least. And well, we'll see what they open with. Like again, TerrOr is a player that is very good at gaseous expansion, and if he can get that off without a hitch, then I think any game which he gets a gaseous off without a hitch, he's at least 50% to win, which is that's good against Bonyth, I think.
Yeah, that's a good win percentage against the player who's been dominating these tournaments and who is so well respected here in the BSL, in the international scene overall. Bonyth here just going to drop his gateway and maybe going for that zealot pressure. Oh, we've got a gas as well. Going to send his probe out around the map to scout, and we'll see if he sends that in the right direction or not. It's a very big map, so if he sends it over to the top left here first, it's going to be a while before he can actually scout TerrOr.
Yep, that should be a while. I'd be surprised if he did any sort of like end scout or anything like that. TerrOr, on the other hand, looks like he is going to be able to scout Bonyth first, which is really good. He is going for a gas, of course, as we see. It's not going to be one of these gaseous expansions I was talking about. I hope it's just a factory expand, though. If he tries 2-fact again, to me, that reeks of desperation.
Yeah, I'm going to go over there and smack him on the top of the head if he tries that again. Tell him to give us a good series here. We want to see a big macro game on Paradiso. This is that 16 base map, plenty of bases all around here to pick up, and this is a very interesting map, similar to Vermeer. We've got these big high ground ridges all around. I'm really interested to see how TerrOr will utilize those to function in his pushes and in his defense.
Right now, getting that factory up pretty quickly, getting that second depot with the micro hole for the Zealots. Of course, he can see everything that's coming out here with his SCV. He should, like, I wasn't paying complete attention if you saw it was a Zealot, but honestly, I mean, if you're a strong player in the non-Korean scene, you already know that Bonyth goes Zealot like 99% of the time.
Yeah, it's a good way to get that pressure going, and he's going to be able to send his probe back home now that he's figured out where his opponent is, and just utilize the Zealot here to get some of that information. And coming up to the ramp here, looks like we're going to have the block with the SCV, so not wanting to allow that Zealot to do anything, get into this base here and deal any sort of damage or kind of mess with the build here of TerrOr. Now coming down onto the low ground, he's going to push away this Zealot. Great micro so far here from TerrOr, backing up with these 2 Marines. He almost loses one. And he's gonna lose one now finally. One more hit. No, very nice. Gonna get these 2 Marines in the bunker, but can he get this one shot? No, just barely slipping in there in time.
I have to say that was, I think we could go back and look at it, but that was perfect micro from Bonyth. I'm fairly certain. Like, I do not think he could have done better there. And in fact, he even puts a bit of damage on that Vulture 2 shots, so that's annoying as well for poor TerrOr. He has to be very careful with this, and in fact, Bonyth has a Dragoon out in the center, maybe hoping that he'll turn around, go through the center, something like that. But yeah, we'll see what TerrOr wants to do with that. I imagine he's going to do a Mines Opener. Generally, you follow up that Vulture with that, and that is what it looks like right now.
Yeah, it's very tempting to send your first Zealot over towards the natural just to check and see if the Dragoon is right there blocking and making sure nothing can run up into the main, but if you've already taken a couple of shots on your Vulture, it's much less tempting, right? You really want to get those mines down.
Yeah, when you take the shots, I think trying to get probes is out of the question. The amount of times you're going to get probes compared to lose the Vulture is a losing proposition. But yeah, it looks like he's just kind of trying to scout out exactly what's going on. I just saw the Vulture poke and see a Dragoon there, but oh, he's going into 2 factory behind us. That's kind of interesting. It looks like he wants to do a little bit of pressure.
One thing from that TerrOr versus Ultra game, I know that's TVT and not completely relevant, but TerrOr was able to use double dropship all around the map, dropping at multiple locations and hitting with all kinds of multitasking that was taxing to Ultra. and actually brought him back into a game where he was very far behind. So TerrOr absolutely clutch with those dropships, but this game he's not adding on that early starport. Instead, gonna go for a push here with a bunch of Marines, and it should be usually 3 tanks that go along with this attack, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 tanks is more common, but you can do a 2-tank variant that just hits more quickly. In fact, I think if they're going very quick Reaver, 3-tank is better, and then if they are doing anything else, the 2-tank is actually pretty solid. Now, he does have that mine upgrade done. He's actually got a very healthy amount of Marines in here, and he has to micro this really.
Yeah, already picking off the first Vulture here, but he loses a Dragoon. Trading 1 Dragoon for 1 Vulture is a great trade here for TerrOr. He's going to lay down some mines here right at the front, and the pylon wall here going to be used against Bonyth now, running straight up in front of this, utilizing the Marines. Those Marines that were damaged earlier are going to go down pretty quickly, but a Dragoon coming from behind? Where did that Dragoon come from? It's kind of messing up the plan here for TerrOr, who's trying to keep Bonyth on one side of his army, but hitting from behind here and then pulling away, this is actually going to drive TerrOr back, funnily enough.
The push from TerrOr was very good. He does get a few probes in there. And honestly, TerrOr mismicroed a couple times there, unfortunately, with the mine laying, the way he did it next to each other with the Vultures clump. The mine was in the way. The tank's going to push up as quickly to follow the Marines. So there were a little bit of micro errors there from TerrOr, but I don't feel like he's behind at all. I think that this is a completely fine position for him. He's already got his armory up. He's making missile turrets. We got to assume that he's going to have siege in time for this counter push. And I think if I opened like this against Bonyth, I'd be happy.
And yeah, I mean, he saved all his tanks. That's what more can you ask for here?
Exactly.
Getting probes and saving the tanks is fantastic. He's got some mines here at the front. It's going to be hard to dive on top of these tanks. But siege mode is not done. Maybe Bonyth wants to take his shot, shoot his shot here, try to get in. But 4 tanks and a bunker, that's a lot of DPS.
Yeah, you're not. I don't think you can really attack into this. This is the beautiful thing about these 2-fact builds. Oh, you're right. There are 0 Marines. It's actually worthwhile to build 1 when you're retreating to put it back in. It screws up the AI a bunch. Now he gets siege mode finished, so he's going to be okay, but he did lose that additional tank as well. So, you know, a little bit going wrong for TerrOr now, but still, I think the game is right around even.
Now it'll all come down to this next, this Reaver push here. We'll see where he wants to go with that. This time, again, the Reaver can head in towards the natural, but it's going to have to loop all the way around in order to get into the main. And TerrOr has plenty of time right now to set up his turrets. Is he going to set up like right along the edge of the wall here and try to make a full turret ring, or will he, you know, set up mines and then put down the turrets? I think it's become more popular to put the turrets nearer to the buildings and then have mines around the perimeter. And it looks like that's what TerrOr's looking to do here.
It's a way safer and cheaper way to play. So yeah, I definitely think you're right about that. It is a bit more popular right now. Now this is, Bonyth is actually on 4-gate plus Reaver. And like, you might look at that and say that I was going to say, like, is he going to try to break? But he actually took a 3rd Nexus as well. So I don't think that's the case. As if TerrOr just goes, yeah, look at that mine, beautiful. I think that actually hit as well. I don't think he picked that up quickly enough. But if TerrOr just goes like 4-fact command center, he's completely solid against this. Look at this, he's getting his comm sats. Yeah, well, he's a little bit late on factory ads. This is the only thing I'm nervous about for him, but he is getting quick upgrades. And he does bring the SCVs out, so he'll probably go 5-fact here and then expand. But yeah, just slightly later than I'd like to see on that.
And he's gonna get the kill here on the Observer right as the factories are being added on. So Bonyth doesn't actually know about these factories on the left side. I think he saw that 1 being built, but you know, it's always good to obfuscate a little bit here, not to allow Bonyth to know everything about your factory count, how many there are. It leaves a little bit to mystery here for Bonyth, and that means that he's not going to be playing completely safe, and it will have to stay on his toes. He's staying out here in the front, and TerrOr's going to try and take this 3rd base. How do you feel about taking a 3rd base on this map specifically? Yeah,
well, in this position where he's adding this many factories, he should be completely fine taking it. Taking it quickly is really hard on this map. Like, you know, like off of 2 or 3 factories, I'm saying it's really, really hard to make that work. But yeah, it's like harder than Polypoid, but that's fine because Polypoid's the easiest map for that. But the one thing that is blowing my mind is he added a 6th factory. Like, look at this. In fact, he's going to 7. Oh, okay, so he's not going to expand at all. What he's doing here, this is a very, very, very old build. 7 fact 2-1. So it's normally all in, right? Like, I've seen, the only time I can remember someone playing a macro version of this is when Gypsy did it against Oya, maybe like 3 or 4 BSLs ago. And other than that, it's normally just attack, 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 and try to kill.
And I think that's the idea here from TerrOr. He's going to be attacking, trying to take out Bonyth early on before going into even a 3rd base. So that macro game, I don't think we're going to get it here, Artosis.
Yeah, no, this should be TerrOr really going for it, really going for the push. He really needs a 2nd add-on. I'm surprised he didn't get that, but I guess maybe he feels like he has enough tanks and he just wants to spam out vultures as quickly as possible. Now, if he can kill one of these Reavers, that's huge. Oh, that's huge. That's huge.
Big kill there, and I was going to say that these Reavers are going to be critical for the defense as TerrOr's moving across the map and rallying vultures and trying to end this game. If the Reavers can get big hits on tanks and start to limit that count, especially with, as you said, 1 machine shop, you're not going to be able to replenish those very quickly. And Bonyth, picking off a few of those would be great, but now that he's lost 1 Reaver, it's not going to be nearly as easy to kill tanks with those.
Yeah, I would love to see, by the way, TerrOr adding in a bunch of Goliaths, making sure that he has that anti-shuttle in here. I mean, if you have this many factories, may as well. Looks like he is getting Goliath range at the moment, so definitely has that idea ready for himself. And you can see in the spies, they're really close. Like, TerrOr has gotten himself into a position where this absolutely could be a victory.
It's looking like we've got a bit of a supply block for TerrOr. He's banking up some minerals right now. It's not what you want to have happen right as you're planning to hit this push, but he opens that supply up, going to start a big round of units here and start to push forward as he kind of harasses with these vultures, trying to lay mines behind everything. Not going to be allowed by Bonyth, and he's just going to try and pick off whatever he can as he retreats here, dropping that Reaver, double Reaver here on the high ground. He gets a big shot on some of these vultures, but no kills on the tanks just yet.
Yeah, the other vultures come back too, the ones that were on the map. Very important. He needs to have every unit here. Here we go, Bonyth trying to break into this push, going uphill. We have a ton of units left over here. The Zealots, there's still a few, and we don't have any vultures left, so Bonyth starts to really take control of this fight.
That was unbelievable. Those 2 Reaver shots hit the center mass of those vultures, and they all exploded at the same time. And now that there's no vultures with this army, Bonyth just pushes everything back. He takes out a ton of tanks. This is a failed push here. I mean, this was supposed to kill.
Yes, this is a terrible situation. Like, he'll probably start a 3rd command center. I'd be surprised if he hadn't by now, because there's no real kill potential here, I think. But with the amount of factors he has, and he should have 2-1 upgrades if I'm not mistaken, that maybe you can fight back in a macro. Maybe.
All right, well, gonna drop storms here in the natural, try to get some big kills on these SCVs. 4-5 kills on that 1 Templar, picking off quite a few of those SCVs. But at this point, you don't really need more SCVs, right? You really need that 3rd base out before you can even saturate, or you're going to be so oversaturated here on 2. It's not really that big of an issue for TerrOr.
Yeah, that is very true. Bonyth here, I feel like the world is his oyster. What I would like to see, I think the strongest thing he would do here is continue to macro High Templars and take a 5th base in the top left. If he does that, like, as TerrOr, you don't really have any push timings, but I saw a Stargate. And while carriers are ridiculous and super great when you're ahead, which certainly Bonyth is a bit ahead, I feel like that is something that may open up a secondary timing, right? Because it does take a little bit to get into carriers, and we may see TerrOr actually find that timing attack if he actually goes into carriers instead of the 5th Nexus.
We don't see a 5th Nexus just yet, and those vultures have been harassing up in the top left, making sure that no probes can make their way up there. Taking that extra main base, yeah, is huge. Having the extra rally point is massive. It's gonna make things more and more difficult for Terra. I mean, pushing up towards the top left. We saw how hard it was to push just northward, but pushing all the way across the map, you're going to stretch your supply line so thin, and Bonyth's going to take advantage of you. So, yeah, grabbing this third base now. Terra just landed his command center. He should be starting a third gas, dropping another machine shop, go up into, a huge amount of tanks and just go for this push. He sees it. He sees the carrier. He's got this timing. 3 Stargate carrier coming here for Bonyth, but it's going to take some time. He could hit this timing. You're right.
Yeah, he actually scanned in the perfect moment. He saw the beginning of the carrier transition. So, I mean, from here, you're on a clock as Terran, but that kind of helps the game. It simplifies the game a lot here for Terra. What he should do, probably, is make 2 rounds of units, attack across the map, and rally Goliaths. Goliath Vulture, basically. And if he can do that, like, again, I feel like this is the one way that Terra can come back in this game.
All right, we'll see if he can make that happen. One great move for the Protoss player that we see utilized a lot in Korean plays, moving your Dragoon army around that push and then catching those Goliaths as they're reinforcing, and then you can just kill everything with the carriers. And that could be a move in the playbook here for Bonyth, but we'll just have to see coming up here very soon whether he just tries to smash that army with his entire army or whether he wants to go around it and kind of cut off those anti-air units.
Yeah, the counterattack's just so crucial when you're trying to go into carriers. It's really one of the biggest ways to buy some time and maybe split that army really for Terran. By the way, we're about to have 3-2, I think, for Terra, and we're on like 1 attack upgrade for Bonyth. So, like, I mean, he is going to be relying on Size Storm and counterattacks like 100% here until his carrier count gets up.
Look at this, 2 drops heading around the bottom side of the map. This is what I was talking about earlier with TerrOr, that he is a drop professional. Gonna be hitting this base in the top left. There's only 3 Dragoons up here. There are 2 gateways though, so he can start to build out, some Zealots, maybe some Dark Templar even, add them in. That makes things really difficult for a drop like this, but maybe TerrOr can get some damage up here. Maybe he can draw some units up to this spot and give himself an opening where he can send this army across the map and really, get a good position before Bonyth, not have Bonyth just sitting right on top of a ramp waiting for him with his entire army. Maybe get him out of position so he can move forward.
Yeah, this is a fantastic move. He's going to go ahead. I guess he'll get this Nexus first. I don't know how much more he'll be able to get done. Bonyth with the counterattack into the 4th base of TerrOr. This is a small army. TerrOr has potential here. Like, if he pulls all of his units and kills off this army, then I think he has the chance to just attack to the north and maybe end up winning this game. But I got to tell you, TerrOr is playing beautifully since losing his army. Beautifully.
He has to play almost perfectly here if he wants to bring this game back against Bonyth, and he's just about there. This push, though, has to work. He has to snipe some of these shuttles as they're coming in with the Goliaths, and he's got to not take too much damage from these Reavers as well, like he did in that first push. Tanks are unsieging here on low ground. He's going to send up the Vultures now that the cannons have been removed. They can get to work killing the probes here up in the top left, and oh god, the command center is going to fall, but I think you just pulled the trigger on an attack here. Don't even worry about this 4th base anymore.
You're right. I mean, if you're not going to move your entire army immediately to keep that mining, you may as well just go counterattack, because a bunch of units of Bonyth are in that bottom position, way out of position. And look at this. He's hitting here once again. He brings his tanks up. He brought Vultures to clear the obvious Dark Templars that would be coming out. Like, TerrOr is playing completely out of his mind, but if he doesn't attack to the north soon, Bonyth will still be able to win this game. Look at those banks. 4.4k, 1.5k against 1 mining base. TerrOr has to win soon.
Yes, he has that big army, 191 supply, and he's starting to move forward here. Getting everything together on all those hotkeys is quite the task, but he's starting to move the Goliath, the giant Terran army, the mech ball here heading northward. What do we have on this high ground? 1 Reaver with 19 kills. Oh yeah, Protoss isn't broken at all.
That's a Bonyth Reaver right there, that's for sure. And it finally does end up going down. Uses a couple D matrices. You know, the carrier count is getting kind of high, but I don't believe they all have interceptors yet. So TerrOr has potential with this push still. He definitely needs to kill the space. He needs to get to the... He has to kill the natural. If he doesn't kill the natural with this push, the game ends.
Oh, he totally could have sniped that shuttle there if he'd been on top of things. But Bonyth now gets the drop off and deals massive damage to all these Goliaths at the front line with his storms here. Gonna lift off. He lifted off his natural and sent it over here to the center right. I love this this idea of expanding behind your attack here for TerrOr. Taking that base on the center right behind this push is gonna make it very hard for Bonyth to shut that down.
Yeah, that's exactly how you have to do it. And you have to keep so much pressure on there that Bonyth can't counterattack anymore. I don't know if he's going to be able to. There's been some great storms. The Goliath upgrades are absolutely fantastic, so that's good. But he needs to continue the push. He has to do this really quickly. If you don't cut off the gateways from getting onto the map, Bonyth's going to win with his bank, right? He's going to win with his superior mining that he has right now. So TerrOr needs to close the gap. He needs to push into the natural.
Just pure rallies of Goliaths coming across the map because he knows that Bonyth's actual ground army is not that big, and he's still got a lot of tanks here, but his supply is dwindling 151 to 200. Bonyth's going to come forward and start to snipe some of these tanks. A big storm on a lot of the tanks and Goliaths, and it looks like Bonyth might be able to crack this here. He's doing a great job. Another beautiful storm there. And the carriers are reigning supreme as all the tanks get picked off. The Dragoons can really come into effect as well, sniping down all of these Goliaths. Just brute force here for Bonyth. He's going to break this bush even before it gets to his natural.
Oh, that's going to be game. Unfortunately, there is no comeback potential here. There's 2 mining bases. Bonyth can instantly kill one of them with his carriers. And once you lose your tanks... Like, if you're going to come back to a game like this, you have to have, like, the bottom left main, right? Like, you have to have so much gas coming in that you can make, like, 4 tanks at a time and, like, 8 Goliaths at a time, right? That's going to be how you do it. But here, he's having to make a lot of Goliaths to deal with a huge carrier count, but he won't have enough tanks to deal with the rest of the army.
Yeah, that can be a good move when your opponent is going carriers, is to take bases like that in the bottom left-hand corner. It's very hard to rotate all the way around the map to go and kill those bases, but GG is called here. TerrOr taps after losing that second army. Man, that first push though. Yeah, what do you think? He
messed up the first push. He did.
That first push, yeah. Man. That was rough.
Yeah. Sure. Yep. Go right ahead. Okay. Sure. All right, so Brain's gonna come commentate with me next. I gotta say, looking at that, we were just about to talk about it, but yeah, the initial push, a little bit weak there from TerrOr. He had a very high-quality army. I don't think his setup was quite right. The Vultures kind of bled forward a bit too much, didn't push the Reaver back enough. There are tactics you can use on Paradiso to take that high ground a bit easier, and unfortunately he wasn't able to do that. He actually played really beautifully after that for a bit, but it wasn't quite enough. Like, I think he needed to be a little bit more decisive with this push to the north. A little bit more decisive defending 6 o'clock too. You know, that was the army at 6. The only scary part of it was High Templars in the shuttle. So if he had moved his entire army instantly, I think he saved 6. And then, yeah, he eats a couple size storms, but you have to save that 6 o'clock. The drops at the top left were great. TerrOr's playing pretty well. His initial attacks are having a little bit of a hard time though, and well, that is the hard thing with Terran, is attacking. So, yeah, it's tough right now, though. Bonyth looking very, very strong as always. Up 2-0. I mean, if you're going to 3-0 from here, you're going to be a legend. So, fingers crossed for TerrOr. We are getting ready for the next map. I can't even believe it. Yeah, Bonyth watching replay right now. We'll get him in there in a minute. But the next map is actually going to be Neo Luna, which that's a hard map, I think, for TVP. Like, I find that to be one of the harder maps in the map pool. I'm sure that Winter Solstice was banned by TerrOr, and that would be the hardest map, but yeah.
Mind I join you, Artosis?
Please, Brain, welcome. How you doing?
Fine, thanks much. So we are waiting for a third game on Luna.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Luna, because this has historically always been a good map for Protoss against Terran.
Map. Yeah, Protoss map seems to be.
I always tell the story, like, the lore of Luna is that it was made so that Nada wouldn't win everything. Yeah, Luna came out at the peak of Nada's powers, and it just became the hardest TVP map that we had, but it became like a really standard map in tournaments.
I remember insane games of Nada on TVZ versus Zerg, like 2 hours straight, something like that.
He was the GOAT until Flash, that's for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And in fact, Flash actually says that Nada's like smarter than him. So, anyways, we're gonna be going into the third game here of TerrOr against Bonyth.
As soon as the players are ready.
Yeah. It looks like TerrOr is ready. Bonyth just finished up. Looking at the replay, looks like he was kind of looking at that game. I thought TerrOr played damn well in the mid game there. He was looking really good. I actually thought he had potential to come back after that failed push, which not many Terrans can do that.
The timing of his push was quite very close to Korean perfect.
Yeah.
Very close, but still, Bonyth out-controlled him.
Yeah, that's so oftentimes the problem with playing against Bonyth is that you know his control's gonna be so good. Like even the first Zealot, that I don't know if you saw the very beginning of the game, but the first Zealot, it was perfectly controlled.
Yeah,
he got
exactly.
maximum damage with them. Like what? Like why are you even attacking in here? You shouldn't. And then he's just like he kills one Marine, almost kills another. I'm like,
okay,
damn, dude. All right, bunker finishes to save his life.
You're good to go.
All right. Yeah, we got the players in the game. We're gonna go ahead and get that started. And this is... All right, here we go. We're gonna skip saying where they're at because Bonyth is right next to us, and early game is kind of quiet. But Neo Luna, I wonder why TerrOr chose this map, because in a macro game, counterattacks here are really strong. I didn't get to see yesterday's games yet because I was out all day, but I heard that it was just a counterattack fest against SPX here, who was playing like a great game but couldn't defend everything.
But I hope TerrOr can prepare something hidden, these hidden strategies which you usually prepared back in the WCG times to like compete with Koreans. So maybe TerrOr will show some Latin American strategies. I mean, not that of TR8 strategy, but something really weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because when I was talking to him earlier, he said that he was kind of watching the TVP VODs last night, and he got a lot of ideas on how to play against Bonyth. And it's not like... Bonyth is not unbeatable. If you bring the right strat that kind of counters what he's doing, bam, you're going to pick up a victory.
And sharp shoulder.
Yeah, for sure. So, hopefully... I mean, you're not going to pick Luna if you don't have a strat.
Oh, the chat made good suggestion. We make an extra high latency, so TerrOr will be in this mode.
That's what you should do. The losing player doesn't just choose the map, they choose the latency as well.
That's cool.
Put it on turn rate 8. Let's go. Yeah, that would actually kill Bonyth. Imagine him trying to use Reavers in turn rate 8. TerrOr's used to that shit. No problem.
Yeah, you either choose a map or you choose a latency. That's a good choice.
I like that. You would drive some people crazy with that. Imagine a poor Zerg player. You're like, yeah, turn rate 8, let's go. What are you going to do? Run up and burrow a lurker? Thanks. So, yeah, he is going for a gas opener, which is... I actually thought TerrOr's like really good at gases expand, but he hasn't really been favoring that here. Instead, going for those quick gases. Maybe it's going to 2-fact again. I don't know.
Yeah, it appears that he preferred to some pushes, and we saw that in the first game that he preferred the natural big kill, so he will have an advantage. But eventually, you kill the natural. Okay, what we will do with the Reavers?
Well, the Reaver counterattack did get him on that 2-factory in the last time. I remember at Corrupted Cup, I actually told Toget, I'm like, if you're going to go 2-factory, make sure that you go raid with him.
Right.
And he did that, and he beat Bonyth with that build. And I told SPX and TerrOr about that, and no one's doing it, man. I don't know.
That's perfectly. I remember your game with this Rain, I believe, where you made like everything.
Yes.
And all this stuff. Yeah, just
I almost had him.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a good memory. That was a while ago too. That was years ago. But yeah, the thing is, the Reaver is just so hard to stop in those positions. But he took the SCVs off gas, so I guess it's just going to be an expansion.
Yeah. Appears to be so. Yeah. Like
It
he
seems.
has 100 gas. He doesn't enforce. Okay. They go for CC.
Like, yeah, I mean, you can do a more mineral heavy one where you do add a second factory, but we'll see in a minute. The SCV getting out of there just before the Dragoon is ready, so that will allow the secondary scout. Yeah, the Zealot's not gonna find it.
Oh. Again.
I'm,
That's just
Dude,
a sick control.
that is insane. Look at how much health is left. 41 health?
Yeah. He's almost like, okay, this is the 1 minute and he's full on his shield power, so like
Yeah,
50% of health. Okay.
seriously. And it's like 8 more Marine hits or 9 more Marine hits to kill him at this point. So, yeah, the Zealot gonna come down with the Dragon. Oh my god, this might be a very quick game, man. Oh, no. No, he brought the SCVs, so he should be able to finish this bunker and load it up. But Bonyth is literally dealing maximum damage.
Oh, okay. So 1 marine. Okay. Well, that zealot is just cross. You know. Four marines. Yeah. So
It's so painful. You know, you're sitting there building the Marines. He has the depot to try to micro through, and he couldn't quite pull it off. And now look at this. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Body blocking. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's gonna get the vulture.
is this a Warcraft? I don't know. How's
Yeah.
how's it happening?
Seriously. We got the happy watch out. Bonyth is ready. Oh man, this is pure pain. And now you know he never skips Dragoon range really, so he's gonna start pounding on the bunker. You have to go siege tank. This is a tough opener for TerrOr.
It appears that more dragoons are coming on. I'm seeing on the map, in the mini map. Yeah, so
Yeah, and he's got to immediately start repairing this bunker as well.
Yeah.
He had to stop building. I think he stopped building the command center to get enough repair on there. Dude, everything's going wrong. Everything's on fire.
by the way, Artosis, how much money do you spend on like in this situation on just repairing a bunker? Is this worth like a third command center or something?
Yeah, so basically, I actually had a friend of mine, Dunebug, do the math on this.
Yeah.
So when you look at SCVs repairing a bunker, if they're repairing consistently,
Yeah.
the actual economy that you're losing, double the SCV count that's repairing and add 1, and that is how much mining you're losing.
Right. Okay.
So that's crazy. So like here, if you're repairing with 2, this is like 5 SCVs of mining
Yeah.
that you're losing.
Right.
Because you're losing them from not mining mineral patches, then also the cost of the
So
repair.
literally at this stage you're losing your natural basically.
Yeah. It's huge if they're dealing damage to your bunker, which is, you know, it feels terrible as Terran having to repair through all that. And you know, he's got the tanks now, so
Yeah,
that's
he's safe.
over.
He seems to be safe, but still,
Yeah.
the damage was just insane at this point. And we can see it on the supply limit, like it shouldn't be 37 to 48 at this stage.
Right. 13 supply advantage is pretty gigantic. And he's going Reaver too.
Yeah.
So like this 3 tank push that he's going to try, the Reaver's going to be out by the time he's at the natural. And if you lose these 3 tanks, the game is as good as done.
That's for sure.
So coming up, and Bonyth with great micro there, trades 1
Oh,
Dragoon
nice.
for 1 tank. That's amazing.
That's just perfect. That's what the Protoss want to do at this stage, yeah.
Yeah. Bonyth is really dominating. It feels like he's just found his flow in this series right now.
Oh, so the river is already here.
Does he already have a Reaver out?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Ah.
Look at that. Well, he pulls back so he doesn't take full damage. And he has the Vulture, so I think he can retreat, but like now is TerrOr at home. You have to build at least 3 turrets. Yeah, I like the counterattack. If you try to chase this home,
No chance.
Bonyth takes a third, he runs the Reaver around, you never kill it. He has to do
So
this.
you at least do this, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can get some good hits. Like he's laying some mines that's hard to clear. I don't know if he has siege mode almost done. Maybe. And oh my god, the Reaver drop into this main base. Oh, the Scarab. Okay,
okay.
only 1 kill. Only 1.
Only one.
Kills a Vulture. Okay.
Wow,
okay.
that's lucky.
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
stage, yeah.
He has the tank pop out.
Yep.
The Zealot's a little bit annoying here. It's gotta be repair. Okay, good repair. It's gonna cost him a 3rd Scarab.
Take off the tank. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, this is
This is
going,
not good.
Yeah. Bad to worse. He is killing so much right now. Takes some shots on that, but does it matter? I don't think so. Oh my god, gets another vulture.
Appears to be the same like in the first game. He will be on 27 supply or so.
Man, this is so painful. I mean, if you're playing ladder and this is what the game looks like, you generally leave. You know,
Yeah.
but it's a tournament, so obviously he's gonna try to figure
Of
out if he
course.
can come back. But this is a terrible, terrible spot here for TerrOr.
Yeah, that's true. Like in the online game, you would probably already left, but here, yeah, you would try and just okay. I'm still not dead, so I just play. But wow, the advantage of Artosis now is just insane.
Yeah, and he's coming in. He's going for the kill, utilizing these dragoons to target some mines.
Wow.
Oh, he even drags the mine into the tank. God, and now he's going to be able to kill off this tank and the SCVs. I think we're going to see a GG.
Yep.
There's just nothing left. That's it.
Wow. Okay, so Bonyth, yeah, well, in the match for the first place, and Oya and TerrOr for the third. Okay.
Wow. And a 3-0. Bonyth was saying he was thinking it would be a 3-1, but does end up taking TerrOr. I felt like TerrOr had real potential in game 2, right?
I
Like,
thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah. And in the first, when he advanced to the natural, it appears to be okay-ish until the river popped out.
Yeah.
And it just ended.
Great play. Great play. The three Protoss players really kind of dominating so far. And yeah, that actually for S rank, Protoss against S rank Terran, it's 10-0 right now.
That's, yeah.
They're killing.
Third place match
Yeah.
first. Okay, so I will leave for now.
Okay.
To prepare everything for the top 3 game.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you much, Brain. Thank you for the very quick co-cast, since it was such a quick game. All right, I think we're gonna just throw it over to the bracket for a minute, so that we'll be right back, guys.
Good job.